Hello there my fellow holotable heroes and welcome to another Conquest video. So I'm back here in Sector 4 where I'll show you some of the teams that I used to complete a lot of these feats here. So I've already done videos for like Sector 1, 2 and 3 feats. If you're interested in those, there will be a link in the description below as always. But now let's just start with today's video. As always, let's first have a look at the global feats here before I head into Sector 4. So after completing first 3 sectors, as you can see, I've made a really good progress, almost done with Grand Victory. Also the Boba Fennec one, and then Boba Han as well, kind of almost halfway there. Same thing with Boba and Jango Fett as well. So the only ones really that will probably drag on all the way to the last day are Bounty Hunters and Smugglers. Alright, let's hop now into Sector 4 and let's see what kind of feats are waiting for us ahead to complete. And then we'll go through and do some battles for you. Alright, there we go. So the feats we have here in Sector 4 are actually quite straightforward, so there aren't a whole lot of trickery involved here, maybe that we had in first 3 sectors where we had to put some sort of mishmash teams for Armor Shred or for Stagger or things like that. You simply have to defeat 50 enemy with Empire. Now obviously if you do have developed Empire, you will be able to put at least 2 teams that can do a lot of damage. So one of them will be the Troopers and then another one, some sort of Empire team built around Throne and Vader. So, you know, knocking out these 50 there defeats shouldn't be too challenging, I think. And next one where you have to win 14 battles with a full squad of light side units. I mean, this is even easier. You can just throw in whatever you've got, to be honest. Final again, lucky shot. Scoring 200 critical hits, I mean, this will just happen anyway. So really, the only fit that you really have to pay attention this time is the Potency Down one, that you have to inflict it 40 times. Now, as you probably know, we had this fit before. There are only 2 sources of Potency Down, and that's basic attack from Grandmaster Yoda and basic attack from Young Lando. So whichever team you'll be using, you'll try and utilize those and just keep using their basic attacks so you can get this fit done. So, you know, with this kind of fit overview, let's just hop into battles now and you'll see there isn't a whole lot here to do. It's just a case of, you know, finding opponents that your troopers, maybe your Vader can defeat. First things, let's have a look at the disc that I'll be starting here in Sector 4. So I've got Unstable Decelerator, so I get some turn meter removal there. Incitable for some extra defense penetration. Then probably so far the most popular disc here, the most useful, Perseverance. Which allows your all your units to do an extra hit whenever they attack. Power for a little bit of extra offense and extra damage. Vitality for extra survivability, and then Zealous Ambition that really boosts damage on your support and healers. So that's what I'll be starting off. I'll be a little bit swapping probably this throughout the sector depending how things go. But first things first, let's go after this Darth Revan team here. No over prepared. So we don't have to worry about them being too fast. And as we all know, Imperial Troopers, their Darth Trooper do counter Darth Revan in GAC or TW. So hey, might as well work in Conquest, right? So let's give this a go. I'm just showing you the mods on my troopers. I didn't remod these guys, these are just the mods I have on them at all times. They have okay-ish mods because I do get a lot of use out of them, especially in GAC. Especially now that I finally got Dark Trooper to 7 stars and Relic 5. Hopefully I'll be able to take down some Darth Revan teams in GAC as well as TW, but for now we'll see how it goes. Now worth mentioning here that obviously range here is support, so is Stark, so is Veer, so you know they'll be benefiting from Zealous Ambition disc for doing extra hits. Okay, here we go. Now obviously we got a pre-taunt here. So first you want to put a mark over on Dark Trooper. He's called to assist. And another assist, and another assist. There goes the Perseverance disc for you. Alright, I do not want to do AoE because this will just put taunt on Malax. I'm just trying to get HK out because once HK is out, you can actually use the special ability there from Range Trooper that gives you protection up. Because with HK he will gain bonus turn meter if you do have protection up. Then put Death Mark on Sith Marauder so you can pretty much get him out as quickly as you can. And I will just have to dance a little bit with these 2 guys, same as in GNCTW really here. Basics on Revan, try to get him down. Let's increase cooldowns there on Revan in case he gets a turn. There we go, come on, give me one more punch. Didn't land. Just get him out, there we go. 1 hit, 2 hit, One more, not quite. There we go, perfect. There you go. That's how you can use troopers. I mean, you know, you can find some weaker teams, not necessarily Darth Revan. It was just what was on my first note here in Sector 4. So I said, you know what, I think troopers can work. Now, I will unequip Perseverance discs now, because I'll be using Vader, and Perseverance disc will interrupt Vader's Merciless bonus turns. So if you have that equipped, you go into Merciless, you do an attack, and then you'll get this extra attack from Perseverance disc, and then Vader will basically lose the whole Merciless mode, because he will attack the same target twice. So that's why whenever, if you do want to make a use of Vader's Merciless in any sort of battle, you will want to remove the Perseverance disc, and instead I'll go with this whole new now setup of these that I collected over the past 3 sectors that apply debuffs, and then for any debuffs they get thermal detonators, and as well max health damage as well. So hopefully, you know, we'll be able to finish off these guys quickly once we start applying lots of debuffs on everybody. Going here with Vader lead, so those dots that get applied from caustic emissions, these will never expire, so we'll go nicely hand in hand there with Vader. As well with Vader lead, we do get some chance to remove turn meter, so there's 50% chance to remove 20% turn meter that cannot be resisted. So this will also hopefully a little bit help us out there with controlling the enemy. Again, you'll have to find some sort of opponent that your Vader can beat. I did come across, I think, like 2 Hux teams in this Sector 4, so it seems like Vader was able to handle them okay. Obviously, you have to watch out for those counterattacks, they can be annoying. But you know, we'll see how it goes. Obviously, bringing Gideon helps. He puts a pre-taunt over on a pre-taunt over on Royal Guard. Also, price demoralized, kind of offsetting 50% extra damage that Hux leadership bring on their basic, because it will reduce by 50% their damage. There we go. Now precaution. Look at the number of debuffs on these guys. Alright, let's fracture Kylo. Let's get Sith Trooper out. There we go. The one thing you do have to watch out for here, if enemies die from damage over times, it will not count as the defeat for your Empire. So in this particular battle, I think I got only 3 defeats, unfortunately. So just something to bear in mind when you're going here with Vader. If you see that someone's about to die off from damage over times or thermal detonators, just make sure to finish them off with one of your Empire units before they get defeated. So they go after these first 2 battles. I will had a total of 8 defeats. So I got 5 with the troopers there versus Darth Revan, and then 3 more here with Vader versus this First Order team. Alright, so that's kind of the 2 Empire teams that I'll be using across the sector. So up next, let's start tackling that Potency Down feat. That's the one probably that'll require a little bit more attention. Now, one thing to note with Potency Down, so if you do defeat the enemy on a basic attack from Yoda or Young Lando, then Potency Down will not apply. So definitely want to probably remove Zealous Ambition disc, because Yoda is support. So if you do not remove the Zealous Ambition disc from Yoda, obviously he will then be doing big hits, one-shotting characters. So just something worth mentioning, that in case, you know, you go in, you do a lot of attacks with Yoda and you hardly get any potency downs, it's just because you defeated the enemy with a basic attack. So they have to survive your basic attack in order for potency down to apply. Against Jedi Revan, you know, it's quite a powerful team, so pretty sure you can defeat many enemies there. I chose probably one of the most annoying ones with this Canderous and the whole turn meter train going. The Saver there triggered, gave Julie a turn, so he can then call Yoda for an assist. And once Yoda starts going, you know, it's pretty much game over for the enemy. So let me just speed this footage up now. So what you want to do is just, with everybody, keep calling here Yoda for an assist. Obviously, we're going up against teams that maybe have Django or Boba that can prevent revives. You have to be careful there. If they put a big hit on your Yoda that's quite squishy, you won't be able to revive him, which means you'll have to replay that battle to get it to 3 stars if needed for the key cards. So just something worth mentioning is I'm trying to get here Django out before, you know, he gets loose. Alright, he just died, I think, from thermal detonators there and damage over times. Okay, basically, there we go. Yeah, now Sabine, she's got 3 stacks of base because she's counter-attacking, which is actually good because we can't critically hit her because of 3 stacks, which gives us a lot of opportunities to keep calling Yoda for an assist, keep doing his basic. There we go, 1 more hit, and she dies from thermal detonators. Alright, so here we go. I think in this battle I got about 15 potency downs, so obviously the amount of potency downs per battle you get will depend what kind of opponent you're going up against. So this one actually it ended quite well because they put Beskar Armor Sabine, and I was able to do quite a few hits on her, not being able to critically hit her. So as mentioned earlier, we also have young Lando in here. So this is a team that kind of from previous Conquest. If you do have Rey, you do Rey lead, and even like my gear, young Lando, he'll probably stay alive because, you know, Rey can keep putting lifeblood on him, giving bonus protection to everybody, and then young Lando and Grand Yoda, you know, they can just keep doing basics. You can keep calling them for an assist, and hopefully, you know, you can get quite a few potency downs down as well here. Now, fortunately, in this particular video, I was going up against Rey Jedi training, and with all the foresight and dodging, I was a little bit struggling, you know, to really get potency down applied. They also have stuns, so as you will see, they were applying stuns on my guys. So it wasn't exactly the best choice of opponent, but sometimes, you know, when you're just going through the sector, you have in front of you what you have. It's also worth mentioning that obviously when you do put these kind of mishmash teams together, make sure that they're all light size, because we have, remember, we have a here feat where we have to defeat 14 battles with light side units. So, you know, don't put somebody like Watt in here, because then it won't count for the light side feat. But anyway, let's cleanse off their Yoda. There we go, we got one basic attack already. Got damage immunity. I mean, also you will see that, for example, here if you just want to win the battle, you just whirlwind Holdo and you could probably easily freestart this battle. But I was just trying to drag it out as much as I can to get this potency down applied as many times as I could, which obviously allowed the enemy there to get to the Illuminated Destiny, and also took out a character too. So it really depends, but I'd rather, you know, try to milk these battles to get as many potency downs as possible. Just, you know, I try to knock out all the feats as much as I can, and I can always go back once my stamina recharges, which whichever team I want to, just to get 3 stars in these battles if I need. I just want to first knock out all the feats and then see how many steel key cards I need for the max grade. There we go, calling here now young Lando for an assist because he doesn't do as much damage as Yoda. But now we got more or less things under control. Might lose Julie there in a moment. Yeah, just put lifeblood on him. There we go, basic attack. No, dodging, healing up. Alright, so there you go. On that basic attack, I took down Rey, so then, you know, potency down was not able to be applied. And also, if they evade attack, potency down will not apply as well. So just again, something to bear in mind as you're going through these battles. So I've got one more here team as well for more potency down. So there you go, I got 7 in this battle, so I'm up to 22 now. Now also you can, if you don't have Rey and you do have Master Luke, he's also a great option here. It's basically the same team as I did with Rey, because in case you haven't known, you can also call young Lando to assist with the leader ability there that you do get with Jedi Master Luke. So you can just keep calling Lando or Grandmaster Yoda for assist if you want to. It, you know, it really depends what you've got. But as you will see, even like, you know, Gear 8, young Lando, there we go, calling him for an assist, huh? Young Lando joining the Jedi ranks finally. Obviously trying to, I guess here with Night Sisters you could try a little bit, you know, as well milk more of them, because, you know, if you keep Daka alive, and then she could keep reviving everybody, but then you have to know that eventually like Asajj would ramp up, so that could be an issue. By the end of the day, if you just want to knock out a lot of them in a single battle, just head it. You could just try versus Night Sisters, and even if you lose, you will still get the progress towards defeat. But to be honest, you anyway have to go through the sector, defeat 20 enemies, so, you know, there's no point of dropping battles intentionally and replaying, because you'll have to win these 20 battles anyway. So might as well just, you know, do 7-8 a battle of these potency downs, and by the time you get to the end of sector, you should have more than enough really battles to complete the potency down feat. So there you go, that's how this team plays as well. So, you know, use whatever you've got, just, you know, full Jedi lineup, Rey lead, Master Luke lead, whatever you've got. You know, you shouldn't have too many issues here. And there you go, in this final battle, I applied it 9 times, so I'm already nearly there, maybe a couple of more battles, and I'll complete that in no time. There you go, we got another Hux team ahead of us. Well, we do have to have a bounty hunter battle, right? Because we need to get 3 done in every day, basically, that we can complete the global feed. Now, my bounty hunters, I do have to remod them. I'm going with Boss Lead now, not with Django, because this over prepare teams are too fast. Even with Django's speed extra, you won't be able to outrun them. So what I do, as I've shown you my disc before, when I swapped, I put like caustic emissions, and I put the disc as well that applies thermal detonators when they do get 5 debuffs. So they'll quickly get lots of debuffs on them, and every time they gain debuff because of boss clit, you will be basically regaining health and protection, which will allow your bounty hunters to survive the onslaught. Well, apart from Fennec, you know, she's gear 8, 3-star, so she'll probably get taken down quickly. But as you can see, the rest of the guys are basically hanging in there, taking all the punches from an over-prepared Hux squad without any issues here. Try to obviously avoid here doing AoEs if Hux has dominance, because then these guys will counterattack. And there goes Fennec. That's okay, we can live with that. She's here just for the global feat anyway. She's not really adding any value to the team. Finally got here my taunt with Bosk, and he's taking punches like a champ, trying to get Phasma out, working towards the contract. There you go, contract trigger now. Just finish Phasma, there we go. Okay, and you know, once you get your contract, again, look at the amount of debuffs are getting applied. Well, they took out Bosk, well, that's okay. Took out Sith Trooper there, and anyway, try again to time hits here with Django and Boba, because remember, we have that global feat where we have to do kills with Boba and Django. So there you go, that's how we can use kind of bounty hunter here as well in Sector 4 to get a couple of wins here and there with Bosk lead and the combination of discs here that I'm showing you. Got lots of debuffs discs there, and as well Amplify Agony, which will do extra damage as well whenever they do get debuffs on the enemies. There we go. I do also have to get some Smugglers feat in here. So I'm just bringing my standard Smugglers squad. I was actually a little bit struggling now in Sector 4 to find a team that these guys can handle. Like, I went versus Hux, we cleaned them up, but then obviously we were not able to take out Kylo Ren and Musk, because nobody on this team has healing immunity from Smugglers. So instead I found this clone team that I'll be going up against. Everybody will probably die off, but you know, that's why I'm going in with Slow Nest here, so she never takes a turn, she keeps counter-attacking. And on her basic, you know, when she applies Expose, because of the Amplify Agony data disc, she'll be doing extra max health damage as well on her basic attacks. We go, look at all the hits we're doing, all the debuffs we are stacking on these guys. Alright, that's fine, they'll go. Nest will carry the battle for us here. So, you know, not a high star win, but if you do need here as well in Sector 4 to get something done with Smugglers, you can still do it versus these kind of teams that are taking lots of attacks, lots of turns, and just going with Slow Nest, and they simply will not have enough to take her out. And there you go, they're only dying off from thermal detonators, because every time they take a turn they get damage over times applied. Whenever they get 5 stacks of damage over times, they get 2 thermal detonators applied, and even at some point then either Nest takes them out or they get taken down by thermal detonators themselves while they are stuck behind bonus protection from Nest. And there you go, that's all really for today's battles here in Sector 4. As I said in the beginning, the feats in Sector 4 are actually pretty straightforward. Nothing really here you need to really look out for, apart from the Potency Down, but even that one you can get it done probably in about 4 or 5 battles, utilizing some sort of Jedi Galactic Legend team with Grandmaster Yoda. Keep calling him for essays. You can throw in Younglund as well if you want for some extra attacks. And you know, here's Sector 4, pretty straightforward so far. As you've seen, I completed everything except the Empire units. I'll just have to come back here, do a battle or two with Empire, and by the time obviously the Conquest finishes, I should have this as well knocked out without any issues. So let me just show you my final loadout here with data disk at the end of day 4. I have caustic emissions now equipped, as mentioned before, for those damage over times. Then volatile accelerator, so then whenever we do deal damage to an enemy, they get more damage over times applied on them. Then perseverance for the, you know, double taps, another caustic emission, more debuffs. And because with all these debuffs, that's why this thermal exhaust will quickly stack lots of thermal detonators on the enemies. And obviously damage over times are doing damage, thermal detonators are doing damage, and on top of it, in combination with Amplify Agony as well, will be doing max self damage as well. That's why in that final battle, clones were just falling down themselves, Nest hardly hit anybody, and we still got a win there with a full smuggler squad, even though only nests arrived in the end. But doesn't matter, it still counts for the feat. Now let's just have a look as well at the global feats just to see where we stand after playing through Sector 4. There you go, almost done with Boba and Fennec. I just have one more battle to do, and that will be knocked out. I'm more than halfway through now as well with Boba and Django, and same thing with Boba and Han. Then this is the only ones that I'm barely on track with Bounty Hunters and Smugglers. But again, once I play through all of the Sector 5, then it will be easier to also knock out these global feats, because then I'll just go back to Sector 1 and choose some easy opponent. Or actually, the easiest opponent I found was the mini boss in Sector 2. They've got no tanks, you just nuke Anakin and there you go. So I'll just be then cheesing that node to get all of these global feats done if there's anything left after completing Sector 5 as well. Alright guys, that's all for today's video. I hope you find it useful and helpful, just showing you some of the teams and opponents here that work really well in Sector 4 to help you knock out these feats, you know, without really worrying too much by the time you come through all the way to the end of Sector 4. Thank you for watching guys, I'll see you in the next one, but until then have fun, enjoy your life, and may the RNG be with you my friends.